What do you think is the biggest archaeological find ever? Many would probably say it was the Dead Sea Scrolls, but others might answer the Shroud of Turin. But these are not the answers that I would give. You see, when I think of the greatest archaeological finds ever, my mind goes to an artifact that is rarely mentioned, something that many have never heard of, the Cyrus Cylinder. And this artifact has a surprising connection to a Bible prophecy that is still being fulfilled today. So what is the Cyrus Cylinder? What makes it so important? Well, it is a clay cylinder that was found in the ancient ruins of Babylon in 1879. It was discovered by the British explorer Austen Henry Lewis, who had been searching for the lost Hanging Gardens of Babylon, one of the ancient world's 7 wonders. He had heard of a rumor that there was a stone tablet buried underneath the palace where Nebuchadnezzar had lived, and he wanted to uncover it. He did so by digging a shaft underneath the palace and found the cylinder. It was covered in cuneiform script, and once it was decoded, we realized that it told the incredible account of the conquering of Babylon by the Persian king Cyrus the Great, who was the founder of the Achaemenid Empire. But there is much more to the Cyrus Cylinder than just a historical account. Some scholars argue that it is actually the first human rights document ever created, because Cyrus proclaimed freedom of religion and racial equality in his empire. Many historians will also say that it is the first Charter of Liberties, because Cyrus made the astonishing announcement that he would restore stolen property and re-establish law and order after the chaos of war. Now this was a bold move, since the king had benefited greatly from the looting and pillaging of Babylon, but he decided to redistribute the spoils of war anyway. Now all of this is quite amazing, but it gets even better, because the Cyrus Cylinder also relates the account of Cyrus returning the Jews to their homeland. Listen to these words. Thus, Cyrus, king of the world, said, Thus says Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord Most High has granted me all kingdoms of the earth, and he has charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem which is in Judah, and whoever among you of his people shall be willing, let him go with me to Jerusalem which is in Judah. Now this was a decree that was written over 2,500 years ago. Yet Christians believed that it was a prophecy that forecasted the return of the Jews to their land, some 600 years later. You see, during the time of Nehemiah, the Jews were still living in exile in the land of the Medes and the Persians. They had been under attack by the Babylonians and then the Assyrians, and they had endured hundreds of years of oppression. But God had promised them through his prophets that one day he would raise up a deliverer to save them from their enemies. And amazingly, that deliverer came in the form of Cyrus, the king of the Medes and the Persians. He defeated the Babylonians and allowed the Jews to return to their homeland and rebuild the temple. This was seen as the beginning of the Messianic age, the time when God's people would be delivered from their enemies and would enjoy a period of peace and prosperity. But why would a pagan king like Cyrus help the Jews? Well, there are 2 possible explanations. First, it could be that Cyrus genuinely desired to honor God, because it appears that he had studied the Jewish and Christian scriptures and believed in one God. In fact, he is thought to be the very king that the prophet Isaiah referred to when he wrote, Lift up your heads, O gates, and be lifted up, O ancient doors, that the King of peace may come in and bring righteousness to the nations. Or second, it could be that Cyrus simply wanted to gain favor with the Jewish people, because he knew that they were influential and he needed their support. Either way, the result was the same. Cyrus allowed the Jews to return to their homeland and rebuild the temple. And so, in 536 BC, a group of exiles led by Zerubbabel and Jeshua returned to Jerusalem and began the work of rebuilding the city walls and the temple. Within 50 years, Jerusalem was rebuilt and the Second Temple was completed, and this fulfillment of prophecy proved to be a powerful witness to the people around the Jews. For centuries, the Jews had been mocked for their belief in a coming Messiah. But now they had seen God raise up a pagan king to deliver them from their enemies, and so it became evident that the Messiah would also come from the line of David and would rule over Israel forever. Many people had dismissed the miraculous deliverance of Cyrus as just a happy accident. After all, why would a pagan king like Cyrus help the Jews unless he had read Isaiah's prophecy and decided to fulfill it? But I think there's something deeper going on here. You see, God often works in ways that we don't understand. He can use people from all walks of life to accomplish his purposes. And I believe that Cyrus was used by God to deliver the Jews from their enemies, because of his faith in the God of Abraham, Isaac and Jacob. Think about it. If Cyrus had not been interested in God, he would not have given the Jews permission to return to their homeland. He could have easily kept them in exile, or even wiped them out completely. But he didn't. He allowed them to return to their homeland and rebuild their temple. And he did this because he believed in the God of Israel. Of course, it's possible that he was only pretending to believe in God, but I think there's evidence that he was sincere in his faith. He even released the Jewish prisoners from their shackles and gave them back their valuables. He could have easily taken all of their stuff, but he didn't. He gave it back to them. And that's not something a man who was only pretending to believe in God would do. No, I believe that Cyrus truly believed in the God of Israel, and that he wanted to honor him. So why is it that we should care about the Cyrus Cylinder? Why is it such an important archaeological find? Well, because it proves that God can use anyone to accomplish his purposes. It doesn't matter if you're a Jew or a pagan, a Christian or a Muslim, a man or a woman, a rich person or a poor person. If you have faith in God and you're willing to obey him, he can use you to accomplish his purposes. The Cyrus Cylinder is a reminder that God is in control of history. He can use anyone to accomplish his purposes, and he doesn't always do things the way we expect him to. Sometimes he uses unlikely people to accomplish his goals, but he always keeps his promises. As believers, we need to remember that God is in control of history, and that he can use us to accomplish his purposes. We don't always need to do things the way we think we should. We just need to be willing to obey God and trust in his plan. The Cyrus Cylinder is a powerful example of this truth, and I hope that it inspires you to trust in God and his ability to use you to accomplish his purposes. Now, before we go, I want to remind you to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. It's free and you can always change your mind later. But by subscribing, you'll be helping us to reach more people with the gospel of Jesus Christ. So please take a moment to click the subscribe button. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. It helps us to continue making videos like this. And feel free to leave any comments or thoughts you have. We love reading your comments and responding to them when we can. And who knows, you might even get a chance to see your comment in one of our future videos. Thanks for watching. God bless you, and remember, Jesus loves you.